Okay, you wanted to know how to make a dynamically sized text area. So how you do that? You got to start by adding some text. So here's a text layer, like so. And by default, it's got the brim highlighted. The brim is the entirety of the layer. So I'm going to turn off the brim, and I'm going to instead turn on the bounds. By default, it looks like that, which looks just like the brim. But when I come in here to size, and I'm going to say the height boundary is defined, I want that to actually be height actually used. So there you go. Now you're seeing the height actually used for this text layer. And if I were to put in more text, let's say if I put in a carriage return and said this is more text, you'll see that the height changes dynamically. So now that we've done that, now we can add another layer that will dynamically position itself under that. So let's say I add a specific image here, and I don't know, I'll just go in here and get something out of there. So I've got that image, and now I'm going to say here, I'm going to go into that image, we'll go to position here, and I'm going to move adjacent, and I'm going to select this to be adjacent to that text layer, like so, and I want it to be outside the bottom of the text layer, like this. So when I hit move, now you can see that it is positioned below that. The reason it's positioned below that is because the position of this layer has been set right here to be layer left text and layer width text as its X value, and layer bottom, that's why it's being centered up here. If I didn't want it to be centered, I could just restore this back to its default value, like so. Actually, I can't do that. I just realized why I can't do that, because I've set a different value. I'm going to just forget that part. We're going to go in and reset this back to the value it was just a moment ago. The reason I couldn't set that, by the way, is because the anchor point is set here to the top center, and I should have had it set to top left if I was going to do that. Anyway, just ignore me. That's a tangent. The important bit here is layer bottom text. So if you set your layer, your Y value, which is the top of your layer, to be layer bottom of a previous layer, it will use that regardless of the size of that layer. So here, I come back into my text here, and I'll put in even more text, like so, right? And then that moves down, and it pushes this down. And if I put in more again, and I click outside that layer, it moves it down and pushes this down. And just like that, if I was to remove a layer, or I mean a row of text, it would pull it back up as well. So, and again, the reason that's happening is because of two things. The first thing is that we have set this text layer to have a height boundary of used. And the second part of that is that the other layer, and again, it doesn't matter what type of layer that is, we're setting the Y value to be the bottom of that text layer. And if we felt like we needed a little bit of spacing there, we could actually adjust this. If we just come in here and say something like plus 20 or whatever, then we've added 20 pixels of gap between the bottom of this text layer and the top of this image layer. So I hope that helps you out, and yeah, have fun.